Welcome to Jay's VHS. Today we're talking about Godzilla. King of the monsters, defender of Earth, occasional city destroyer. There's two types of Godzilla fans. Fans of the American legendary films, and people who have seen the Japanese movies. When Legendary redeemed Hollywood's prior efforts for an American remake of Godzilla, it kick-started the legendary MonsterVerse. However, in just a few films they've introduced Mothra, Kong, Godzilla, and Mechagodzilla. Fans of the original Japanese movies are already asking what's left and have they introduced all of the big hitters too early? Fear not, there are still creatures lurking in the depths, hiding in space, or maybe even hiding in other franchises, who deserve their chance to dance with Godzilla. No matter who wins, we lose. Sorry about that. Let's start by looking at Anguirus. He's a loyal, spiky tank of a lizard. He's fast, he's scrappy, and somehow always gets stomped. The fun here is imagining the straight up duel. Spines versus nuclear breath, tail whips against the cityscapes, humans screaming because they're literally in the splash zone. Thing is, Anguirus dies a lot. But he dies heroically, and that counts for something, right? Plus, Anguirus ends up being besties with Godzilla. For this one to work though, we do kind of need to ignore that skeleton that was in King of the Monsters. Next up is Bagan. He's a mole lizard. Yeah, I know. Small, surprisingly feisty, and capable of tunneling through mountains faster than any construction company could dream of. Godzilla vs. Bagan isn't about raw power. It's about panic. Sure, Godzilla stomps, but Bagan digs. And that city is gone, regardless. It's fun. It would be short, but it would be merciless. It's the underground horror that nobody asked for. Then there's Gigan. Cyborg, chainsaw hands, unreasonably aggressive. The premise writes itself. Godzilla's atomic fire breath meets mechanical mayhem. There'd be sparks, explosions, chainsaw blades. Also, for some reason, lasers. It's loud and it's confusing. And awesome. And on a personal note, I honestly cannot decide whether this is the worst or best looking monster on the list. How about Biolante? Yeah, he's a plant. A plant that somehow becomes a kaiju and eats cities for breakfast. This time, Godzilla is up against an angry monstrosity that mutates mid-fight. Plus, He has acidic sap. Biolante uses Vine Whip. It's super effective. We've also got Hedorah. Pollution incarnate. Because in the 90s, everyone was fighting pollution, but Godzilla was doing it literally. Yes, literal sludge. It moves slow. It's sticky. It's terrifying. Godzilla fights sludge in a battle that's somehow gross and visually spectacular. Imagine humans trying to evacuate while the smog monster drifts over their neighbourhoods. Realistic, horrifying, and environmentally themed. Still relevant today. This next one is my most likely pick for the next movie. Space Godzilla. Crystal spikes, cosmic origin, inexplicably evil. Just another Godzilla, really, but with massive crystals on its back. However, Space Godzilla is bigger, stronger, and meaner. Godzilla needed assistance to take him down, so it could be a contender for another Kong x Godzilla Tag Team Smackdown. How about Jet Jaguar? Godzilla versus the shape-shifting robot. Jet Jaguar is part robot and part something else. He can grow, he can shrink, he can probably file taxes, who knows? The fun part is watching Godzilla fight a humanoid robot that changes size mid-battle. 1 minute he's 20 feet tall, the next minute he's tiny enough to hide behind a car. It would be chaos. Just think Ant-Man battles, but on a Kaiju scale. Maximum carnage, maximum confusion. I've always had a soft spot for King Caesar. He's an ancient guardian, he's canine-shaped, and so majestic. Imagine Godzilla fighting a dog that's also a god, that's also a giant, wagging his little tail. And the best thing is, when he's done fighting, he just goes back to sleep in his big rock. He's a good boy. The final boss, Destoroyah. One monster that makes Godzilla look like he needs therapy, born from the same oxygen destroyer that killed the original Godzilla. Destoroyah isn't just a monster, he's a walking existential crisis. He doesn't roar, he screams. He doesn't fight fair, he dismembers. Wings, claws, laser beams, crab legs. It's like someone asked, what if we designed pure trauma? And Toho said, yes. Of course, this is all before we start considering the potential for non-Toho crossovers and throwdowns. Legendary already make Pacific Rim. Godzilla could fight the Kaijus or the mecha from there. I'd love to see Godzilla throw down with Gypsy Danger. Or what about other Japanese Kaiju? How about Gamera, the flying turtle? He's a friend to children. Or we could look at some of America's greatest B movies. How about Godzilla versus Sharktopus? Okay, maybe not. Godzilla versus Sharknado? Okay, I can see I'm not selling on this one, but the options are endless. So there you have it. Godzilla's still got enough potential opponents for a whole battle royale. We just need to hope that there's enough cities left for them to destroy. You need to stay tuned, because somewhere in a movie boardroom, someone's already sketching out the next kaiju for Godzilla to fight. And when they do, I'm going to be ready with popcorn. Let them fight. But until then, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below and let me know who you want to see Godzilla throw down with. And until next time, be kind, rewind.